He's the owner of one of the most popular restaurants in town. So when word got out that Larry Casey of Casey's Buffet had suffered a massive heart attack, a lot of prayers started going out. He certainly needed them because Larry died for 19 minutes. He was brought back to life, but what happened during those 19 minutes is nothing less than a miracle.
Hey, we'll fry some. What do you think?
It was like any typical night at Casey's restaurant. Larry, the owner, was working one of his typical 16 to 18-hour days, frying up a big batch of chicken to add to the overflowing buffet.
I overdo it sometimes.
Then he got a notion that night to head over to the storage shed to work on his plans to expand the business. He called his wife Gina on the phone to come over. Minutes after she got there, he dropped to the floor.
He just is talking and all of a sudden says, "You know, I feel lightheaded." And he just falls over on me, and I remember him going,
and just like that, dead for 19 minutes. Paramedics started CPR immediately and worked feverishly until they got a heartbeat. He spent several days in CCU in a medically induced coma. When he finally came to, it was the old Larry. No brain damage.
I knew something happened, and while I was out, I'd actually seen my mother, and I seen this light that people see, and I actually wanted to stay. My mother said I had to come back.
It was when he recalled the light that Larry becomes emotional. He's convinced he saw his late mother. He's convinced he experienced a miracle.
I think it was a miracle, definitely. Because normally, you know, they say if you die of a heart attack, you get feeling bad, you go to the hospital, or you drop dead. You normally don't drop dead and get revived. It's pretty amazing.
19 minutes.
Yeah.
And he saw God, and he said God was light, and he was very warm. And he told God, I'm tired, I just want to stay. And he said, no, son, you have work to do.
Wilmington firefighters were the first on the scene. We found the crew that saved Larry Casey.
We immediately cut his shirt off and started to go to work on him CPR-wise. My guys performed CPR while I got the defibrillator ready and immediately called for a shock.
Apply pads to patient's bare chest.
Captain Simpson says it took 6 shocks, and they were about to call it.
We were right there at the end on the 6th shock. That's all we're allowed to do in the field is 6.
Gina Casey says she knew it was bad.
And I heard them say, don't stop, keep going. And that's when I knew. I looked at my mother like, oh my gosh, he's gone.
That final shock brought him back. A last-ditch effort to save a life, creating a first for Captain Simpson. In the 21 years he's worked to save lives, he has never saved one with the defibrillator.
I've been able to do CPR and get them back. I've been able to bring choking people back just by doing a Heimlich or abdominal thrusts on them. Never been able to do one with shocking, and this is a first for me, and I almost jumped for joy.
Larry believes he's alive with no brain damage because of divine intervention.
I can't prove it, but it was real to me.
Gina, who immediately went to Facebook asking for her prayer warriors to pray, says they were also in the presence of a heavenly spirit.
Tell them about this mysterious guy who showed up.
We did have a gentleman walk up to us, and I wasn't even thinking about him at that point, but his face was perfect, his hair was perfect. He was an EMS guy, he was dressed like an EMS person, but everybody was leaving, and he was just kind of there, and he walks up and says, I'm a believer. And he says the best medicine for him right now is prayer. He said, please drive carefully to the Hanover Regional Medical Center. But he didn't even speak like a person. And we get in the car, and my mom says, Gina, you realize that must have been an angel.
Larry and Gina both say prayers from people all over the world helped in his healing.
To see all the love and support from customers and just family and friends, and I had other restaurateurs offering to help run the place. And it was just absolutely amazing.
Gina says while her husband has always been a believer, she knows his death has strengthened his faith.
I don't know that he believed that that kind of thing happened very often beforehand, you know, but so what a better fella for it to happen to for a testimony than Larry.
Well, I've always been a believer, but, you know, I'm a workaholic, so this is giving me a little perspective that I gotta take time to, smell the rose a little bit. I'm not done, so I have things to do.
Now, a lot of people have commented on this story on Facebook, and some have commented that perhaps it was all the fried food served at Casey's buffet that caused his heart attack. Well, Larry is adamant that is not the case, that he samples the food but maintains a healthy diet. He's convinced it was his hectic schedule that he is vowing to change. Coming up a little later in this newscast, Larry Casey is actually in this building right now, and we have a little surprise for him. You'll want to stick around and stay where you are. That's coming up in about 10 minutes.
You're watching WECT News at 11.
All right, we have a visitor in the studio tonight. Earlier in this newscast, we told you about this man, Larry Casey, who literally died for 19 minutes. Now, he was brought back to life by a team of firefighters and paramedics. He's met some of the paramedics who were there that night, but he has yet to meet the people who actually shocked him back to life. You thought you were going to do an interview, but I've got a little surprise for you, Larry. Guys, come on out. I want you to see the people who brought you back to life.
Hey, good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Okay, so Larry, I've got to ask you, how does it feel to meet the men who literally brought you back to life?
It's very amazing. It's quite a blessing. I just want to thank you guys. Thank all y'all. I don't know if I deserve all this attention, but I appreciate it.
Well, you deserve the attention because we don't know a lot of people who die for 19 minutes. And then we were talking to you, Captain Simpson, about 19 minutes. You normally don't come back without brain damage.
That's correct.
And so you said that it took 6 times. You all were about to give up.
Yes, we're only allowed to shock 6 times, and then that's the end. So you were right there.
But you said you felt something special about this man.
Yeah, we're about the same age, I think. So I kind of saw my own mortality there.
You know, we haven't mentioned yet. Do you mind telling us how old you are?
47.
And you know, you were telling me something earlier this evening that I find very unique, and I think maybe we should share it with the folks here. You have a son who turned 18. You have a brother who has an 18-year-old son who was born the same day. And then something else special, or not special, but something unique.
They were both born on this day 18 years ago, which was at the time was the 3rd anniversary of my father's death, and today would be 21 years after that, and I'm the same age my father was when he died, and I'm here, you're interviewing me a story about survival. So it's quite a blessing and sort of a wake-up call. I might need to count my blessings and be around for my kids.
We want you to be around, and I think we certainly can thank the man upstairs, but you can certainly thank these men for bringing you back to life.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you all. And you know, ironically, it happens to be EMS week, so hats off to you guys and all of the emergency workers out in our community. John?
Oh, what a great story.